What's up YouTube? It's Brooke, and today I am back with another video. So, for those who do not know, I just got back about a month ago from a 2-month-long backpacking trip. On this trip, I spent a month in Puerto Rico, and then I spent about a week in Panama, and then I spent about 3.5 weeks in Costa Rica. The trip itself was absolutely amazing. Every part, I loved it. I mean, sure, we probably got some hate comments about not being so prepared when it came to Panama and Costa Rica, but overall the trip was so good and I do not regret a second of it. I remember I was packing for my trip and I was thinking, when I first thought about doing a long trip like that, I was like, how do people pack for that? You know, like, how do you pack everything that you're gonna need for 2 months into a backpack? I did a lot of research and then I kind of just wung it, and I can definitely say that I overpacked some things and I underpacked other things. And I definitely have learned, and I feel like it's something that's almost trial and error. You have to figure out what your person needs exactly, you know? So I'm gonna be showing you guys everything that you will need and also let me just clarify. Disclaimer. Every person is different, every trip is different. If you're going to Antarctica, do not pack like how I'm about to show you. I am actually packing currently for a trip to the Dominican Republic because I will be there for a month. And so this is everything I'm packing. So these are things that I've just, everything that I wish I would have packed if I was repacking for Puerto Rico in Central America. Disclaimer, every person is different, every trip is different. Like I said, if you're going to Antarctica, do not pack like how I'm about to show you. At the same time, if you're doing waterfall rappelling, or if you know that you're gonna be doing certain activities, pack for those, of course. That's kind of just common sense. I'm just packing, this is me packing for island life for a month. So, and honestly, if you're packing for like a month, I feel like that's equivalent to packing for 6 to 7 months. Like, you just kind of load up on more things, but like, I would pack the same way if I was going to the Dominican Republic for like 5 months, you know? I'm gonna start off by telling you guys what I'm gonna be putting in my checked bag. Now, my checked bag, personally, what I do is I have that include all my clothes and my bathroom stuff. So we're gonna start out with clothes. I personally recommend 6 pairs of underwear. I found this to be a good number. This is actually what I packed for Puerto Rico, and I'm just gonna say my last trip. But it was actually a really good number. I never felt like I packed more than I needed or less. 6, I think, was a good number to go with. Next thing, I highly recommend this for girls, bralettes. I recommend packing 4 to 5 bralettes. I found these to be the most convenient. I packed other types of bras and I didn't end up wearing them nearly as much as I wore bralettes, because when you're in like an island place, it's actually normal to just walk around in like a bralette. Like, it sounds weird, but that's like, a lot of people do it. So there was times where if I ran out of shirts, like, or I was doing laundry, I would just go out and just like my bralette and shorts, and like, no one looked at me weird, you know? Now, this is something that I really wish I would have packed more of, and that is ankle socks. I recommend packing 10 pairs of ankle socks. Personally, because 1, you lose them so easily. Everyone knows that socks are easy to lose. I think I've originally packed 5 pairs of socks and I came home with like 2 or 3 pairs. So definitely overpack socks. If you're planning on doing any type of off-roading with walk, then I recommend 3 to 4 pairs of hiking socks. These are just socks that go above the ankle, and I actually didn't pack enough of these. I only packed 2 pairs, and then I remember I totally screwed up my 1 pair. And so then I was down to like 1 pair of hiking socks, and that's not fun, because that's just not fun, especially if you're out in the forest hiking for a couple days or whatever, you know. Pack 3 to 4 pairs of some hiking socks. Next up is tennis shoes. Make sure to pack a good pair of tennis shoes, something that's comfortable, something that goes with all your outfits. Sandals are super important also. When I went to Costa Rica, I totally demolished my sandals that I brought. So I recommend not bringing the nicest sandals unless you don't plan on like doing any like river walking or anything with them like I did. Now, I actually lost my water shoes, but I ended up buying water shoes in Puerto Rico because of sea urchins. They were literally everywhere. So I recommend, if you plan on going to the Caribbean, or honestly any ocean that you know has reefs, just buy some water shoes. They were like $15 and they will save your life. My friend Gavin in Puerto Rico actually got a sea urchin like stuck in his foot. And my friend Bilal, he actually had to get it out with tweezers, and it was this whole thing. It was awful. Hiking boots. These are a good thing to invest in if you are granola, if you are into hiking or any adventure stuff. These things came in handy like freaking crazy. They were expensive, but shoot, they are so worth the money. Goggles. These are so important. I actually bought these in, I want to say Panama. Get a good pair of goggles that aren't gonna get water in them. I mean, we went snorkeling almost every day, it seemed like, so I went through all of Puerto Rico just borrowing goggles from our hostel. And then when we went to Panama, I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to actually buy some now because I can't just borrow them anymore. I recommend bringing 5 to 7 pairs of jean shorts, just shorts that you can match with just about any shirt. I recommend bringing 4 to 5 pairs of athletic shorts. These are, of course, super important for hikes. Another thing I recommend is leggings. They ended up saving my life when I was in Tamarindo and I was surfing because I got rashes all up my legs. That's something that nobody tells you about surfing, or at least I was never told about it, is that it gives you rashes, but it's so worth it. Well, I do recommend a pair of leggings regardless, honestly, because you can put them with anything. I wore them when we were in Monteverde and it was a bit colder, so I recommend 1 to 2 pairs of leggings. I recommend 1 to 2 pairs of sweatpants. I'm only gonna bring a pair, honestly. I didn't think about, I figured it'd be chillier in the evenings, but really it doesn't get that cold, or at least it didn't in parts where I was. So I'm just gonna stick with my 1 pair of sweats. I do recommend bringing 3 to 4 swimming suits. You're gonna get sick of just wearing 1 swimming suit. That's basically what I did on my trip. I only brought 2 swimming suits. And this time I learned my lesson. I'm bringing like 3 or 4 swimming suits. Travel hat. Oh my gosh. I just recommend this. I don't know. I would say pack 1 hat for any like bad hair days. 4 tank tops. 6 everyday shirts that you can just put with any pair of shorts. Try to do stuff that is plain. Don't do, well, I mean, do whatever you want, but I personally wouldn't do like graphic tees or like companies like Nike, Under Armour, any of that, just because like I personally, at least with my vibe, when I'm traveling, I just want to be wearing plain stuff. I recommend bringing 2 layering shirts. These are shirts like quarter zip-ups or not really a sweatshirt necessarily, but stuff that you can just put on top that is kind of light, but it will be just enough if it's like 70 degrees after like a 90-degree day. So it's like something just to, you know, make you feel more comfortable. 2 to 3 dresses. Now this is all preference, of course, but when I was on my trip, I only wore dresses like 2 days out of the 2 months. And I ended up, I think I packed like 4 dresses because I was expecting to wear them a lot, and I never wore them. So on this trip, I think I'm bringing a dress and a romper, because I'm just like, I know myself now, and I'm like, you're not gonna wear a whole bunch of dresses. Oh my gosh, this one's important. A cover-up, okay? I actually got this cover-up and I lost it, sadly, so I'm actually gonna be wearing a new one, which is kind of exciting because, you know, pictures and all that. But I loved my cover-up. I wore it everywhere. There was even days where I could use it as a shirt. I would just tie it in front and just put on shorts, and it was the best. I love that cover-up so much. So definitely bring a cover-up that you can, you know, equip for different needs if you want to be efficient. I recommend bringing 1 jacket, if this is a sweatshirt or just something a little heavier for any day that it may be oddly cold. This is, just remember, I'm talking about the Caribbean right now, so like I don't know, I brought a couple jackets and they took up so much room and I never wore them. I think I wore 1 on 1 day and that was it. So definitely bring just 1 jacket. Okay, now we're gonna dive into the bathroom bag and bathroom necessities. Obviously, toothbrush, toothpaste. If you wear a retainer, bring that. And you got your shower stuff, so shampoo, conditioner, body wash, razor, shaving cream, all that jazz. Your hair stuff, so a hairbrush if you are putting any gel or oils in it. Maybe if you put hairspray in your hair, or I don't know what you do, but like any hair things. Oh, a big thing is I bought a pack of scrunchies. I think that there was like anywhere from 10 to 20 of them in this pack, and I literally went through like 90% of them. Like, it was so easy to lose scrunchies. And I mean, I actually like wearing scrunchies. I never really wore them before this trip, but I just like them because they don't really indent your hair. However, the thing that sucks about them is when you get them wet, you have to like rinse them out. So it's like constant, like I'd be getting in the ocean, and then when I'd be getting out, I'd be rinsing out my scrunchie. So I personally recommend, I have one over there on the bed, but that's too far. So I'm just gonna show you this. Look like this, okay? You know? You get what I'm saying? These things. They're for your hair. And I think if I was to go shopping again, I would be picking some of those up. Deodorant, of course. Things like bug spray, sunscreen, aloe, those are very important because when you go to places, especially abroad, those can be like quite expensive, especially in touristy places. When it comes to medicine, if you take any kind of birth control, or I definitely recommend ibuprofen because that kind of just covers a lot. Like if you've got a headache or anything, just pop them in. Dry shampoo and wipes is kind of important if you plan on going on longer hikes where you may not be able to shower every day. I didn't have to do that at all, but I brought them just in case. So they can come in handy for sure. Or if you're just constantly traveling and you just don't have time, they can come in handy. And even the wipes, I definitely recommend wipes, not just for wiping down like your body, but if you spill something, they come in handy. If you are a female watching this, remember, get your things for that time of the month. If you wear any sort of contacts, glasses, make sure to bring them, of course. Don't want to be blind. Okay, now we're gonna be moving on to my carry-on. These are things that I usually have with me in my bag. So this is actually really funny. I didn't think about this before I went to Puerto Rico, but I ended up buying them because they are so helpful. Carabiners. Oh my gosh, what a lifesaver. I freaking love carabiners. I use them all the time. I recommend getting a filtered water bottle. I have one, I think it's a Brita, right? I think when we were in like Costa Rica, you can't drink the water in certain parts. So it was kind of nice to like have the filtered water bottle to filter out anything that you shouldn't be ingesting. Oh my gosh, this one is one that I didn't have for this last trip, but I so learned that I need it. A laundry bag. Okay, so if you're gonna be staying at hostels or anything, and it doesn't even have to be fancy, like just bring a trash bag if you have to. Like if this laundry bag I have doesn't fit into my bag, I'm just gonna pop a trash bag in there. Because it is so important to sort your dirty clothes from your clean, obviously, but like being able to like carry them all, not having to like put them together, it's just a pain. So get a laundry bag. If you have a camera, make sure to bring your camera for pictures and videos and all that jazz. Same with a GoPro, that will save your life. And if you have a GoPro, bring mounts. Oh my gosh. When I was on my trip, I have a whole thing of mounts in my room, and I did not pack a single GoPro mount, including the bobber, like the thing that when it's in the water, it'll like bob up. Why did I not pack that? I don't know. Of course, your phone and a charger for your phone. If you can, try to get a solar powered charger also for if you're out all day and you know your phone might be dying. It's important. For the camera, remember your camera batteries and SD cards. Another thing is headphones, of course. Headphones are important. I have these little earbuds. They aren't like AirPods or anything. They're not like a name brand, but I use them for traveling because they don't call any attention towards me. Like I don't bring my Beats when I travel because I don't want to make myself stand out. If you plan on watching movies or listening to music or anything on the plane, I recommend bringing headphones with a wire, even though those are kind of dead now. Remember your chargers for your camera batteries and your headphones and all that jazz. Now when it comes to things that is in my fanny pack, because a fanny pack is honestly really important. I don't care if it makes you look like a total tourist. It is so helpful. And what's funny is like one of my friends that I was traveling with, she would like not pick on me, but she kind of like said like, dude, like you're like a mom, you know, your little fanny pack. And then at the end of the trip, guess who freaking bought a fanny pack because she saw how helpful it was? She did. So these are just some things that I keep in my fanny pack. It's just your most important things I think should go in a fanny pack. So here's a list of something. Number one, my passport. I keep that on me just because if you're going through customs or anything, like you can just whip it out. Your money, of course, any cards you may have. Medical ID is pretty important to have with you, and same with your driver's license. With COVID, keeping several masks in there, and I say several because I lose them, as does a lot of people. So I usually pack 3 masks when I go on a trip. And that's about it for my fanny pack. Going back to like some things I keep on my carry-on, is a speaker. I did not pack this on my last trip, but I was like, why did I not pack my speaker? There were so many times where I wanted to be on the beach listening to music, or I wanted to be back at the hostel chilling and listening to music, and I couldn't because I didn't pack my speaker. Another thing that I did not pack on my last trip that I was like, shoot, I'm gonna be bringing that on this trip is my hammock. Now, I originally didn't pack it because I was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna have space to set it up. What's the odds I find the perfect trees? Because like where I live, it's hard to find some good trees for hammock. And it was so apparent to me that I should have brought it because so many other people had their hammocks, especially in Puerto Rico. And I was like, why did I not pack it? I could have just hammocked with everyone upstairs. You know, like, so I'm gonna be bringing my hammock. Gorilla Pod. I wish I would have bought a tripod. I remember I filmed a video in Puerto Rico. It was things that shocked me about Puerto Rico. And when I was filming that, my camera was like sitting on a pan, on top of a pan, on top of a pan, I'm pretty sure. Travel adapter is another thing. You know, obviously countries have different outlets. I got lucky with the ones I went to. I didn't need to use any different ones. But I do have a travel adapter and I do pack that when I go international. Books. This is so important. I originally only packed one book because I am not a huge reader and I was thinking like I'm only gonna read on the plane or in my free time. And I ended up finishing my first and only book that I packed on the freaking plane. The whole book. I mean, granted it was only like 300 pages, but I was like, dang, I need to pack some more books because then on the other plane rides I was on, I just slept or I was just sitting there bored because I can't play on my phone. Oh my gosh, this thing was a freaking lifesaver. I originally knew I had to pack this and I did on my last trip, but I wasn't really thinking I was gonna have to use it, and that was definitely not the case. A first aid kit. There's definitely travel size first aid kits that you should look into. You can get them as low as $10. And there was a morning when I was in Panama City where I cut my finger open with a razor, and this is not on purpose. I just reached into my bag, the cap wasn't on my razor, it like fell off, so I cut my finger and it was pretty deep. And I ended up having to put like 4 or 5 bandages on it over the course of a couple of days because it just kept bleeding. This is something I thought about. I'm not packing it on this trip because I'm staying at a hostel for the whole trip. So I'm thinking that they will have some. But foldable Tupperware. I was thinking that this would be a brilliant idea for future travels where I'm not just going to be staying in one spot. Because if you're cooking food, you don't want to throw out all that food. You could use it for a whole nother meal. It'd be kind of nice to have some foldable Tupperware. Just throw it in your bag and then pop it open and put your food in there, you know? So that's something I definitely thought about, and I was like, that would be so nice when I was in Central America. A bag of rice, and hear me out. Traveling is so unpredictable with electronics. I met so many people who had damaged electronics because of being out by the water, or maybe they left their stuff up on the sand and the tide came in. So it's just stuff that you don't think about. Tragedies can happen. Like I said, my last camera I had got drenched. My phone actually ended up drenched and my phone didn't work for a couple days. My camera is now sitting in a coma over there because of water, because I just wasn't prepared for a huge wave to come up and splash me. I recommend bringing a bag of rice so that way you don't have to go scatterbrained and try to find rice when you're abroad, then put it in a bag, and the next thing you know, you waited too long, and you know, anything like that. I, for now on, am going to be packing a bag of rice whenever I travel. Okay, this next thing, obviously this is not a brand deal because I'm a small channel, but I highly recommend this company. It's called SandCloud. They make towels. These towels are so helpful because they don't get sand on them, and that's nothing more annoying than when you get up from the beach and you're getting ready to leave, you have to like shake out your towel like 50 times. SandCloud doesn't do that. SandCloud, please sponsor me because I'm a small channel, but I freaking love your products, and I will be bringing my SandCloud towel. I remember telling so many people that on my trip. I'm like, I have a SandCloud towel at home and it would be so helpful right now, but I didn't pack it. I like totally recommend, if you plan on surfing, bring a long sleeve swimming suit. Stuff like lotion and chapstick, I also put that in my fanny pack, going back to that, because you never know when you're gonna have dry skin. Just drives me insane, so I always just keep lotion and chapstick on me. And then the last thing I have is a journal and a pen. Personally, this is a huge necessity for me because I love writing. This is like kind of how I think, is if I'm thinking like, okay, I want to go to this place. Like, I have to do all of my thinking throughout paper. It's kind of weird. I don't know if other people are like that. Let me know in the comments below if you're like that. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys have any recommendations for the Dominican Republic, since I'll be going there soon, please leave them in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions or comments regarding anything I would have said, or honestly, if you even have suggestions, maybe I didn't say anything, or say something that really you were like, dang, you forgot to say this, Brooke. Like, what? How do you forget this? Like, just leave it in the comments below. Maybe other people can take it into consideration, and I definitely will too. I hope that you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it'll make me smile, and I honestly really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time I see you guys with a brand new video. Mwah.